7 types of people who are secretly draining your energy field. Have you ever walked away from someone and felt like you'd just run a marathon, except all you did was sit and talk? You walked into that conversation feeling fine, maybe even energized, and now you're sitting in your car or standing in your kitchen wondering why you're so exhausted. You try to piece together what happened, but nothing obvious stands out. There was no argument, no drama, nothing that should have drained you. And yet, here you are, depleted, foggy, and craving solitude. If you've ever had this experience, you know how confusing it can be. You start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I'm imagining things. Maybe something's wrong with me. Here's what I want you to consider. Nothing is wrong with you. In fact, quite the opposite. What you're experiencing is a sign that something within you is working exactly as it should. You're feeling something real, something invisible, yes, but real nonetheless. You're feeling the exchange of energy that happens between human beings in every single interaction, an exchange that most people walk through their entire lives without ever consciously noticing. You're feeling what the ancient mystics understood as the fundamental truth of existence. We are not separate islands drifting in an empty sea. We are connected, always, by invisible threads of energy that carry more than words ever could. The ancient Egyptians understood this. They depicted the soul as a luminous field surrounding the body, the Ka, the vital essence that animated the physical form. The Hindus called it prana, the life force that flows through all living things, connecting us in ways the physical eyes cannot see. The Chinese mapped it as qi, moving through meridians, responding to every thought, every emotion, every interaction. And the Hermetic tradition, flowing from the wisdom of Thoth himself, taught that everything vibrates, everything exchanges energy, and nothing exists in isolation. These weren't superstitions, they were observations of a reality that our modern world has largely forgotten how to see. Today, we're going to remember. We're going to explore the 7 types of people who may be secretly draining your energy field, often without even knowing they're doing it. We'll look at how they operate, why they affect you so deeply, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself without building walls around your heart. Because the goal isn't to become cold or closed. The goal is to become sovereign in your own energy, to love deeply while staying full, to be in the world but not drained by it. Before we dive into the 7 types, we need to understand why most people never learn about energy dynamics in the first place. Think back to your childhood for a moment. When you were young, you probably had experiences where you felt uncomfortable around certain people, where you didn't want to be near someone, where you felt drained or uneasy for no reason you could explain. What happened when you expressed those feelings? If you were like most children, you were told that you were being silly, that you were too sensitive, that you needed to be polite, that family is family and you have to love them no matter what. You were taught in countless small ways to override your own energetic intelligence. This wasn't malicious on anyone's part. Your parents and teachers were simply passing down what had been taught to them. They genuinely believed they were helping you navigate the world, teaching you to be kind, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to not judge others based on vague feelings you couldn't explain. But underneath that well-meaning guidance, something important was being lost. You were being disconnected from your own inner knowing, from the subtle signals your body was sending you about who was safe and who wasn't, who filled you and who drained you. By the time we reach adulthood, most of us have been thoroughly conditioned to ignore these signals. We stay in conversations we want to leave. We hug people we don't want to touch. We laugh at jokes that don't feel funny. We say yes when everything inside us is screaming no. And we wonder why we're so exhausted all the time. The truth is, you are constantly exchanging energy with everyone around you. Every conversation is a transaction. Every glance carries a charge. Every moment of shared space leaves an imprint on your field. And when you're not conscious of these exchanges, you're vulnerable to being drained by people who have no idea they're doing it, and sometimes by people who know exactly what they're doing. The system we live in doesn't want you to know this. A population that understands energy is a population that cannot be controlled. If you know that your energy is sacred, that it's the currency of your soul, you'll guard it carefully. You'll say no when you need to. You'll walk away from situations that deplete you. You'll prioritize your own well-being over social obligation. And that kind of sovereignty is threatening to any system built on compliance and consumption. But you're here because something in you has already begun to wake up. You're here because you've sensed that there's more to human interaction than what meets the eye. And that awakening, that sensitivity, is not a weakness, it's the beginning of your liberation. Before we can identify the people who drain us, we need to understand what's actually being drained. What is this energy field we keep referring to? Is it some new age fantasy, or is there something real happening beneath the surface of our everyday experience? Let's start with what we can measure. Your physical body generates an electromagnetic field. This isn't speculation, it's scientific fact. Your heart, in particular, produces the strongest rhythmic electromagnetic field in the body, one that can be detected several feet away using sensitive instruments. This field changes in response to your emotions, your thoughts, your state of consciousness. When you're calm and centered, your heart field is coherent, organized, and expansive. When you're stressed or fearful, it becomes chaotic and contracted. And here's the fascinating part. Your heart field interacts with the fields of people around you. We are literally influencing each other at the electromagnetic level, whether we're aware of it or not. Now imagine that this physical electromagnetic field is just the physical aspect of something much deeper. The ancient traditions described layers upon layers of energy surrounding the body, the etheric, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual. They called it the aura, the luminous body, the subtle anatomy, and they taught that this field is not separate from who you are. It's you. It's your consciousness extended beyond the boundaries of your skin, interacting with the world in ways your physical senses can't perceive. Think of it like this. Your energy field is the atmosphere of your soul. Just as the Earth's atmosphere extends far beyond the Earth's surface, interacting with solar winds and cosmic radiation, your energy field extends beyond your body, interacting with the fields of everyone you encounter. And just as the Earth's atmosphere can be disturbed by external forces, your energy field can be affected by the people around you. When you're with someone who is centered, grounded, and full of their own energy, you may feel uplifted, inspired, or simply at peace. Their field resonates with yours in a way that supports your well-being. But when you're with someone who is depleted, chaotic, or unconsciously feeding on the energy of others, your field can be pulled out of alignment. You start to feel what they're feeling. You absorb their tension, their anxiety, their exhaustion. You become a sponge for energies that aren't yours, and you wonder why you feel so heavy when nothing in your own life is wrong. This isn't about blame. Most people who drain others have no idea they're doing it. They're simply moving through life with open wounds, leaking energy everywhere they go, unconsciously seeking the warmth of others because they've lost connection to their own inner fire. They're not villains, they're just asleep. But their sleep doesn't have to become your exhaustion. The key is awareness. When you know that your energy field is real, when you can feel it, when you understand how it interacts with others, you can begin to make conscious choices about who you spend time with, how you engage, and when you need to step away and recharge. You can stop being a passive recipient of everyone else's energy and start being an active participant in your own energetic life. The first type of person who may be draining your energy is perhaps the most common and the most socially accepted, the chronic victim. You know them instantly, even if you've never heard them described this way. They're the ones for whom nothing ever goes right. The world is against them. Their boss is unfair. Their partner doesn't understand them. Their health is failing because of circumstances beyond their control. Their finances are a mess because of the economy, their upbringing, their bad luck. They call you to vent, to process, to share the latest catastrophe. And you listen because you care, because you want to help, because that's what good people do. But here's what you may not have noticed. They never actually change. They cycle through the same problems month after month, year after year. You offer suggestions, and they meet every one with a yes, but. You try to offer perspective, and they explain why you just don't understand. You gently point out patterns, and they feel attacked. And after every conversation, you feel exhausted in a way that doesn't quite make sense. After all, you were just talking. Why do you feel like you've been carrying something heavy? The reason is that the chronic victim isn't actually looking for solutions. They're looking for energy. Your attention, your empathy, your emotional investment, that's the fuel they run on. When you listen to them, when you feel sorry for them, when you try to help, you're pouring your life force into a bottomless pit. They feel better afterward, temporarily lifted by the energy you've given them, but you feel drained because something real was transferred and you didn't consent to the exchange. From an energetic perspective, the chronic victim is stuck in a low vibration loop of powerlessness. Their field is contracted, heavy, and constantly broadcasting a signal of lack and need. When they connect with you, especially if you are an empathetic person with a naturally expansive field, they unconsciously plug into your energy like a phone charger into an outlet. You don't feel it happening because it's subtle, because it's invisible, because you've been conditioned to think of conversation as just words, but your body knows, your field knows, and the exhaustion you feel afterward is the evidence. This doesn't mean you should abandon everyone who's going through a hard time. We all have moments of genuine struggle when we need support. The difference is in what happens next. A person in genuine difficulty receives support, feels it, and eventually begins to move forward. They integrate the help and gradually reclaim their own power. The chronic victim, on the other hand, never moves forward. The struggle becomes their identity. The suffering becomes their story. And they will unconsciously resist any solution that threatens to take that identity away, because without their suffering, who would they be? The ancient Gnostics had a term for this kind of energetic entanglement. They spoke of the archons, parasitic forces that feed on human energy, particularly on fear, suffering, and helplessness. While this language may sound mythological, it points to a real dynamic. There are energies, whether external or internal, that thrive on keeping us small, keeping us stuck, keeping us in the role of victim. And when we play that role, or when we enable it in others by pouring endless energy into it, we feed something that doesn't want us to be free. If you recognize someone like this in your life, the most compassionate thing you can do is stop feeding the pattern. You can listen, but you don't have to absorb. You can care, but you don't have to carry. You can offer. Boundaries are the energetic skin of your soul. Just as your physical skin protects your body from external threats while allowing beneficial exchange, your energetic boundaries protect your field from invasion while allowing healthy connection. When someone violates your boundaries, they're essentially breaking through that protective layer and accessing your energy directly. It's exhausting because you have to constantly rebuild the boundary they just demolished. It's like trying to build a sandcastle while someone keeps kicking it down. The ancient mystery schools taught that one of the first tasks of the spiritual aspirant is to learn to build and maintain energetic boundaries. This wasn't seen as selfish or unloving. It was seen as essential. You cannot serve others from an empty vessel. You cannot love others from a depleted heart. You cannot help others if you're constantly being drained yourself. Protecting your energy isn't a luxury, it's a prerequisite for any genuine spiritual life. The seventh type is perhaps the most difficult to recognize because they're not malicious, not toxic, not obviously problematic in any way. They're the unconscious vampires, people who are energetically depleted themselves and, without knowing it, feed on the energy of those around them. They gravitate toward high-vibration people. They feel better when they're around you. They seek you out when they're struggling. They're drawn to your light, and unconsciously, they draw from it. These aren't bad people. In fact, they might be wonderful people, kind, thoughtful, loving in their own way, but they're empty and you're full. They haven't learned how to generate their own energy, how to fill their own cup, how to sustain themselves from within, so they rely on others, especially empaths and sensitive souls, to regulate their state. When they're around you, they feel calm, centered, alive, and you feel tired. Not immediately, not dramatically, but consistently. You notice that you need recovery time after being with them. You notice that your energy dips in their presence. You notice that you feel inexplicably flat after what seemed like a perfectly pleasant interaction. The mechanism here is subtle but powerful. Energy follows attention. When someone's attention is on you, especially if they're looking to you for energy, validation, or emotional regulation, there's a transfer. If they're not generating their own energy, they're borrowing yours. And because this exchange is unconscious on both sides, neither of you realizes it's happening. You just know that you feel drained and you can't figure out why. This is why self-awareness is so crucial. If you don't know your own energy, if you can't feel when it's full and when it's depleted, you'll be at the mercy of every unconscious vampire who crosses your path. You'll wonder why you're always tired, why you need so much alone time, why socializing leaves you flattened rather than fulfilled. You'll blame yourself for being antisocial, for not trying hard enough, for something being wrong with you. But nothing is wrong with you. You're just sensitive. You're just open. You're just feeling what's actually happening, while most people have learned to numb themselves to these exchanges. If you're recognizing yourself in this description, if you're the one who feels drained by others, here's what you need to understand. You're not being drained because you're weak. You're being drained because you have something they need. You have light. You have energy. You have a field that's open, warm, and giving. These are gifts, not weaknesses. But every gift comes with a responsibility. Without protection, your openness becomes an open door. Without boundaries, your compassion becomes depletion. Without awareness, your light attracts not only those who appreciate it, but those who unconsciously feed on it. The goal isn't to become closed. The goal is to become conscious, to learn to feel when your energy is being drawn and to choose whether to give it or keep it. To learn to fill yourself from within so you're not running on empty all the time. To learn to love people without letting them drain you. To be in relationship with others while staying sovereign in your own field. So now we come to the question you've been waiting for. What do you actually do about all this? How do you protect your energy without closing your heart, without becoming cold, without pushing away the people you love? The answer lies in practice, in daily discipline, in learning to work with your energy field as consciously as you work with your physical body. The first practice comes from the shamanic traditions and is perhaps the most powerful for cutting energetic cords with draining people. Every time you interact with someone, especially if there's emotional intensity, cords of energy form between you. These cords can remain long after the interaction, continuing to drain you like a slow leak. The golden cord technique severs them with love. Close your eyes and visualize a golden cord connecting you to the person. See it glowing, pulsing with whatever energy has been exchanged. Then, with gratitude for whatever the connection taught you, visualize cutting the cord cleanly. Immediately replace it with a golden bubble of light around your entire energy field, permeable enough to let love in, but strong enough to keep draining energy out. Do this after every significant interaction, especially with people who consistently leave you feeling depleted. The second practice is for when you're already feeling heavy after an interaction. Often what you're feeling isn't yours, it's energy that was dumped into your field, and you can return it without anger or judgment. Sit quietly, breathe. Visualize the heavy energy as a color or substance lodged in your field. Then, with love, say these words: "This is not mine. I return it to its source, transformed by love, harming none, blessing all." Visualize the energy leaving your field and floating away, dissolving into light. You may need to do this multiple times, especially after intense interactions. Each time, you'll feel lighter, clearer, more yourself. The third practice is a daily reset, the energetic equivalent of showering. Just as you clean your physical body every day, you need to cleanse your energy field. Draining interactions accumulate. Without clearing, they build up, layer upon layer, until you're carrying everyone else's stuff without realizing it. Each evening, spend 5 minutes in a cleansing visualization. See white light pouring through the top of your head, washing through every cell of your body, carrying away any energy that isn't yours. Let it flow out through your feet into the earth, where it's transmuted and recycled. End by visualizing yourself surrounded by a protective bubble of light, fresh and clear and fully your own. The fourth practice is the most challenging and the most essential, learning to say no. Not aggressively, not apologetically, but clearly and cleanly. I can't do that right now. That doesn't work for me. I need some space. No, thank you. These phrases may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're someone who spent your life being agreeable, being helpful, being there for everyone. But every time you say yes when you mean no, you give away your energy. Every time you override your intuition to avoid disappointing someone, you deplete yourself. And the people who truly love you will respect your no. The ones who don't are telling you everything you need to know about whether they belong in your life. The ancient Hermetic principle of polarity teaches that everything has its opposite, and that the secret of power lies in the ability to polarize, to choose consciously rather than being pulled unconsciously. When it comes to energy protection, this means learning to be both open and closed, both giving and guarded, both loving and sovereign. Not either or, but both and, depending on what the moment requires. This is mastery. This is wisdom. This is what it means to be fully human and fully awake. You were given your sensitivity for a reason. You feel deeply because you're meant to. The world needs people like you, people who haven't closed their hearts, who still feel, who still care, who still show up for others even when it costs them something. But you're also meant to protect what you feel. Your energy is sacred. It's the currency of your soul. Guard it wisely, not with walls, but with awareness, not with fear, but with love, not with separation, but with sovereignty. If this video resonated with you, if you're ready to protect your energy without closing your heart, comment one word below: sovereign. Not for me, for you, to declare that your energy is yours and you're ready to keep it that way. Please help our channel grow and spread the message by like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your engagement helps more people find this information, people who need to hear it, just like you did. Remember, you didn't find this video by accident. Your energy field knew it was time to wake up. Trust what you've learned, practice what you've heard, and walk forward knowing that you can love deeply and stay full simultaneously. Thank you for being with us.